Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today is the first in my new quick tip series, and I'm going to start off with the topic of drums. In particular, mixing drums and how you can add more excitement to your drums during the mix. Maybe you've got a really bland drum track, perhaps you're using programmed drums and you just find it's a little bit boring and you want to add some more excitement, some dynamics and some punch. So today I'm going to give you a quick tip on how you can do that simply with plugins during mixing. So let's get into it. Okay, so just to give you a quick overview of what I'm using here. So firstly, it's just a very basic drum loop. We're using Easy Drummer, nothing fancy. I'll give you a quick listen to the drum track. So pretty standard loop. As I said, nothing too exciting. I deliberately chose a fairly standard sort of beat, so it's got a bit of a sound where you might find, okay, it's a bit boring, I want to make it more exciting. So what can we do with plugins? Today I'm going to be using the Slate Virtual Mix Rack. I really enjoy using Slate plugins. Not only do I love the sound, I love the overall look of them. They've got a pretty cool analog workflow, and I really enjoy using them. So today I've got the virtual channel dialed in on the Brit 4K setting with a bit of drive. I do have the SSL EQ. It's not engaged as yet, and I haven't made any modifications to the EQ. I've also added this sort of tube distortion module here called the Hollywood from the Virtual Tube Collection. I really like the saturation on this one, and I'll show you how I use that as well. And finally, our most important one is Compressor with FG116, which I'm going to show you exactly what we do with that to create some excitement. Okay, so let's just have a quick listen back. So that's simply just with the virtual channel playing. So what I'll do next is I'm going to add a bit of distortion to the drums. So you can blend it to taste. That's one of the great things about the Slate plugins. You've got the mix knob, so you can just blend in as much of that distortion as you want. I always like to push it to the limit initially, so you can see exactly what it's doing and then just sort of back it off to the level where you think it sounds good. All right, now for the tip with the compressor. So what I've done here is I've set it to a 20:1 ratio. I've absolutely cranked the input, and I've adjusted the output to obviously compensate, because that would be absolutely slamming in volume if I was to have the output up much higher. So you want to sort of gain match it with your incoming signal so you can really hear what it's doing. So I've got the attack all the way to the left, release turned all the way to the right, set to the first circuit here. I haven't got the high-pass filter engaged, and I haven't mixed in any of the drums yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it, and then I'm going to bring that mix knob in, and you can hear exactly what this compressor is doing to the drums. So that's the original drums without any of the signal mixed in. And you can hear as I gradually increase it, you start hearing more of the ghost notes of the snare. More of the ghost notes, you're going to hear more of that, the hi-hat action as well. And it's just going to give a lot more energy to the drums. So that's a fairly extreme difference between the original signal and with the compressor blended in. Now, this type of drum treatment is probably best going to suit a fairly heavy song, maybe a rock track, where you really need to have the drums cutting through and providing that extra excitement and energy. So I'm going to switch off both the distortion and the compressor. Now, if you don't have Slate plugins, I've actually also set up a parallel track here in Cubase, and all I've done is I've added the Waves CLA 76 to a parallel track, and I've sent the drums via a send from the drum group. So I've routed the drums to this drum group. I'm sending the signal to the parallel compressor track. So what we can do here, so if you don't have the Slate plugins, you can add any sort of compressor that I guess is similar to an 1176. It tends to work really well. And you can hear how we get that sound through this method of setting up a compressor on a parallel track. Have a play around with your attack and your release times. I've got the all buttons in mode activated here on the CLA 76. As you can see, I've cranked the input fairly high. The cool thing here is you can blend it in parallel via the fader. So if you have a listen to, I'll bring that right down to nothing, and then you can have a listen to as I bring that in gradually. So you can blend in that signal as much as you like, and then you've got that flexibility of having a super compressed, really energetic sound, or maybe you just want to add a little bit of a touch of a bit more excitement to your drums. Another thing you can do is you can also blend in a bit of reverb. I've got a room reverb track here, so you can hear it with the compressor and the reverb. And now with all of those effects switched off. So there you have it, a really quick and easy way that you can add some more energy and excitement to your drums during mixing. Thanks for tuning in today. If you have any topics you'd like to see covered in my new Quick Tips series, feel free to drop a comment below, and I'll look forward to catching you again soon.